I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
With weather conditions that tend to be cold so that one side of the tire easily loses grip if it does not touch the asphalt. Marc Marquez, who has the unofficial title of King of Sachsenring, even fell victim to the terror of his beloved circuit. The 11-time German GP champion crashed hard at turn 11, the first right-hand turn after a series of 7 consecutive left-hand turns. Having returned to the track and set the fastest lap time, the Ant of Cervera returned for a medical examination. The doctor declared him fit to race. Marquez had the misfortune to do so. Unable to sharpen his lap time, the 8-time world champion had to drop out of the top 10. Marquez was ranked 13th. This meant that he had to start qualifying 1 to fight for one of the 2 tickets to qualifying 2 which determined pole position. However, Marquez argued, he was reluctant to boast about the target of winning the 2024 German MotoGP. The bittersweet at his own circuit was a mirror to be careful. Marc Marquez is one of the favorite candidates to win the 9th series this season. And here's the full news. Aprilia Racing rider Maverick Vinales set a record for leading the 2024 German MotoGP practice session. Meanwhile, Marc Marquez failed to qualify directly for qualification 2 Q2. Maverick Vinales set a lap time of 1 minute 19.622 seconds in the German MotoGP practice at the Sachsenring, Saxony, Germany, Friday, May 7, 2024. Vinales shone in the midst of a parade of incidents that colored the session. German MotoGP practice is colored by various accidents. 2 corners are the culprits, namely turn 1 and turn 11. Both are right-hand turns which are very rare at the Sachsenring because of the anti-clockwise path, aka against the clock. This is exacerbated by weather conditions that tend to be cold so that one side of the tire easily loses grip if it does not touch the asphalt. Marc Marquez, who has the unofficial title of King of Sachsenring, even became a victim of terror at his favorite circuit. The 11-time German GP champion crashed hard at turn 11, the first right-hand turn after a series of 7 consecutive left-hand turns. Having returned to the track and set the fastest lap time, the Ant from Cervera returned for a medical checkup. The doctor declared him fit to race. Moments after Marquez, Fabio Di Gianantonio Pertamina Enduro VR46 had an incident at turn 1 that caused damage to the wind fence. The damage caused the flag to be raised when the 1-hour session was almost halfway through. Diggia, the nickname, was holding his hand. Fortunately, he was also declared fit and returned to the track. Meanwhile, other riders showed off. Maverick Vinales performed stunningly by breaking the record for the fastest MotoGP lap time at Sachsenring with 1 minute 19.622 seconds. The previous record was 1 minute 19.765 seconds by Francesco Bagnaia Ducati Lenovo, who on the first day did not appear as fierce as yesterday at the Dutch GP. Bagnaia was outside the top 10 for a long time. The 2-time defending MotoGP champion moved up to 5th with a gap of 0.4 seconds from Vinales. Meanwhile, the last German MotoGP champion, Jorge Martin Prima Pramac, could only stick to Vinales from 2nd place. However, the gap is quite large, namely 0.3 seconds. Marquez had an unfortunate fate. Unable to sharpen his lap time, the 8-time world champion had to drop out of the top 10. Marquez is ranked 13th. This means that he has to start qualifying 1 to fight for one of the 2 tickets to qualifying 2 which determines pole position. On the other hand, Marc Marquez is reluctant to boast about the target of winning the 2024 German MotoGP. The bittersweet on his own circuit is a mirror to be careful. Marc Marquez is one of the favorite candidates to win the 9th series this season. The reason is if not because Sachsenring is the circuit of power of the 8-time world champion. Marquez has won 11 times at Sachsenring, where 10 titles were won in 10 consecutive years, including 3 titles in the 125 cubic centimeters and Moto2 classes. The 11th title was won in the 2021 season when he was able to rise in the midst of suffering after an agonizing right shoulder injury when Repsol Honda's RC213V was still fine. Now, in his debut season on the Desmaceticai GP, Marquez is favored to win again. Armed with the best bike on the grid and a super-fast adaptation, the 31-year-old is predicted to claim his first win on a Ducati bike this week. However, despite such good capital, Marquez tends to be modest. He has two things that make him remain cautious even though he is considered to have a chance to win in the 2024 German MotoGP. The first thing is the presence of Francesco Bagnaia, Ducati Lenovo, and Jorge Martin, Prima Pramac, who are on fire. Moreover, Martin is the champion of the 2023 German GP edition, both in the sprint and race. We come with different situations, we will see first at the Sachsenring, Marc Marquez was quoted as saying by Bolasport.com from the MotoGP.com interview. This circuit does suit my racing style and I feel good, but first see what we can do here. Even if I have a good week, I slightly estimate that maybe I can get a chance of victory, but keep in mind there are still Pecco and Martin who are super fast. But if I don't have a good week, it will be more difficult because they both have a very good riding style. So first see if I can get close to their pace, he said. The second thing that Marquez is wary of is the bitter experience of an accident in last year's edition that cancelled the race session. In 2021 I managed to win, but last year I also managed to destroy myself, Marquez said as quoted by Paddock GP. It will depend on how I start and find myself. I'm just realistic. By having a good weekend, we can make things interesting, but we will not dominate, he said. Marquez was also asked about the possibility of Pedro Acosta, who has the opportunity to break his record when he won his first MotoGP class victory at the age of 20 years and 60 days. Currently, Acosta is only 20 years and 37 days old. So this German series is the last chance for Acosta to surpass Marc Marquez's record. Nothing will change whether he beats my record or not, Marquez said casually. He will continue to be a great racer and will do great things in the future, he said.
I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space, coming closer for a taste. And I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.